Hey you, this is Jasim from Code with me, and in this video I'm gonna be showing you what are lists in Python. So if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe my channel and click the bell icon near to it. So without any further, let's jump right into it. Alright, so this is gonna be our agenda for today's lecture. So we'll start off with what is a list. So a list is nothing but a collection of elements, and elements in this case would be like integer, float, or a string, then boolean, or a list itself, whatever be. It's a collection of elements, that's it. So the second one is constructing lists. There are two types of constructing lists. I'll show you. The first one is, let me say my list. Okay, my list, a variable my list is equal to. The first way is by using this square brackets. Okay, square brackets. I told you that it is a collection of elements, so it can be like one, this is an integer, one is an integer, then it can be a string like hi, and it can be a boolean like true, then it can be a float like a 4.5, then it can be a list also. Okay, like another list of hello, then hey, no problem. Okay, so it is a collection of elements. That's the important thing to know. Now this is the first method of constructing a list. Now if I do print this stuff, print my list, let me run the command python.main.py, then I got that list here. Now the second method is using the list method, built-in method. Okay, list built-in method. So list of, in the sense, if we print this stuff here, print my list, we got that same stuff, list. Okay, so that's all about the two ways of constructing a list. Then now what we are going to be doing is we are going to the third one, indexing in lists. So indexing, of course, there are two types, normal and negative. I'll be discussing one by one. So I'll clear this stuff here, and I'll say like my list of 1, say 1. I'll print out this stuff and you could see the output. Now 1 is the index, so let me print and I'll explain after that. So we got hi. Okay, hi means this element. So here the 1 is this one, index 1 is this one. Please note that our indexes are 0 based, meaning the first one is having an index of 0, then this one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3, and so on. So my list of 1 will result in this one, printing that hi. Now if I do my list of let me say 4, which means 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so it will print out this stuff, this list. So let me check the output, and we got that list. So that's what the indexing, the normal indexing. Now we'll move on to the negative indexing, which means we give the negative value to this index as index. So negative indexing means the reverse order, which will start from here. So this one will be will have an index of -1, this one is -2, this one is -3, and this one is -4, and so on. So if I do print this stuff, I got the same hello hi, this list, because this is of index -1. Now if I print -4, then it will be like -1, -2, -3 and -4. So it will print out hi. Let me check. Yes, we got hi. So that's the indexing in lists. Okay, now we'll move on to slicing. Slicing means we take a part of a list. Okay, suppose we need these two elements, or these three elements, and so on. So in that case we will be using indexing, which is very similar to we'll be using slicing, which is very similar to indexing. So if I do say 1:3, then this will do is, let me show you the output here. It prints high true. Okay, so what this does is the index here, we use index, so the first index is high, because this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, this is 3. So it will start from 1, meaning it will start from high, then it will go up to 3, but without 3, excluding 3. So it will only take 1 and 2, meaning high and true. So this is 1, this is 2. It will only take these two things, and that's the output. It always returns a list. Remember that. Okay. So if I do take another example of 1, 4, then this will take 1, 2, and 3, excluding 4. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3, and we will get a list of these 3 items. Now if I do print this stuff, we got high, true, and 4.5, much like this one. So the next thing to note is the negative slicing, meaning if we say minus 4 to minus 1, which means this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4. So it will start from minus 4, then minus 3, minus 2, and minus 1 will not be included. So it will print these 3. Okay, a list of these 3. So if I do run the python main.py, we got the same stuff, high, true, and 4.5. So that's all about the slicing part. Now we'll move on to this stuff, change item value, which is nothing but if I do want to change this high to hello, then what I will do. So it is very simple. We know the index of high, which is 1. So we could say my list of 1 is equal to, we could simply say hello. And if I do print my list now and run this one, we got this as hello. So that's very simple. We just say the index and we can easily replace the value. So that's changing the item value. The next one is looping. I mean, we didn't discuss about loops. I'll just give you a basic introduction to the loops, especially the for loop here. But I will do a separate video on loops, in the further sections. Okay. So to loop, what exactly a loop does is, it will go through all these elements individually, and we can do some operations on that. For example, I'm using a for loop. Now this is a loop. There are a lot of loops like for, while, and all. So this is one of that, for. So for, then I shall say a variable I in my list. Now this essentially means that this I will take each items in my list. So first it will take 1, then it will take high, then it will take true, and so on. So then I can write, I can simply write print I, meaning it will first print 1, then it will print high, then it will print true. The I takes the all these values at a time. Okay, once at a time. So if you do print now, yes, we got that stuff, 1, high, true, and all those stuff. Of course, we can do any operations here. Okay, so that's possible. This is just a simple example of looping. Okay, now we'll move on to this one, existence checking, meaning I want to check if a hey is present in my list. Like I want to check if there is an element named hey in this list. Okay. So you can see there is no element hey, because this is a list, at the end this is a list, not a single element hey. So I can just check, how to check means if hey in my list, if hey in my list, then I can print hey, or I could print true, for instance, or we could also say an else, and then we can print false. Now this is a conditional, like if hey is present in my list, if it is present, in this case it is not present. So if it was present, then it will return, or it will print true. But if it wasn't present, meaning the else case, if it's not present, this is our case, then it will print false. So let me check. So we got false. Okay, meaning hey is not present. Now if I check the high, which we have in the list, high. So if I do check now, then we got true, because high is present. So that's the existence checking. Now the next one is length of list. Okay, we could simply find the length of list by saying len, the built-in len method, len of my list, meaning the length is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5. This is one single item, one single list. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I do check the output, we got 5. So that's the length. Now the next thing is appending or inserting, meaning you need to add a new item into the list. What you could possibly do, there are list methods like append and insert. I'll do one by one. So my list dot append, and we need to pass in the object like let me say hello, and if I do print my list now, here, yeah, we got that hello here. Okay, which means the append method adds to the end of the list. Okay, whatever we add, it will go to the end of the list at the last. Now what if we need to add in this position, like I need 1 and 2, then only I need this high. So in that case we use insert command. So my list dot insert, and the first argument here is the position. Position means where to insert this 2 in this case. So I want to insert it in index. Now this is index, so this is 0 index, and I need to insert it in the first index. So I'll pass 1. The second argument is what to insert, like I need to insert 2 here. So if I do print this one, I got 1, 2, and then high. So that's inserting. Now the next one is removing an item, like I want to remove this high from here, okay, from this list. So what I could possibly do is I could say print my list. Sorry, I'm not printing, I'm just saying my list dot remove, then we will pass the value. Okay, the value is high here. So my list dot remove high will remove this item, and if we do print this one, we are not seeing that high here, it's removed. So that's a remove method. Now the second one here to remove is pop. Pop is nothing but if I do say my list dot pop, and if I do print the stuff, we got this output, meaning this one is removed, this hello high list is removed, meaning pop without any arguments will remove the last item in the list. Okay, now if we do pass an argument like 2, suppose we say 2, then this is an index, so it will remove the second index item. So 0, this is 1, this is 2. Now it will remove this true stuff. If I do print this stuff, then I could not see this true method here, so a true boolean here. So that's the pop method. Now let me check with the delete method. Okay, delete, it's a built-in method, by the way, a built-in keyword, I should say. Then delete, let me delete this stuff. Delete my list of, let me say 1. Okay, means I want to delete the index 1, meaning this stuff, this high. So if I'm sorry for that, if I do this stuff, then that high is gone, here. So that's the another way of removing. Now the fourth one is clear in the sense removing every items, just clear the whole list. So if I do say my list dot clear, and if I print my list, then it becomes an empty list, it removes everything from the list. So that's the clear method. Now the next thing to note is copying a list. Okay, copy this stuff, copying a list. Now copying a list is a bit tricky here, because you cannot say like a new list is equal to my list. You cannot simply say it, so because my list is just a reference type, meaning it holds a pointer to this list. Okay, not a primitive type. So if we assign my list to this new list, then both of these holds the same pointer, which points to this stuff. So if I do say like this, and if I do say new list of, let me say 2, okay, index 2, 0, 1, 2, this true, I want to convert it into false. So let me say new list of 2 is equal to false, and I'll just print my old list, that is my list, as well as I'll print my new list. Okay, then you could see the output as both became false, meaning both changed. So you could not say like this, because it's a pointer, okay, pointing to the same list. So what we could possibly do is we could construct a new list is equal to, we could say my list dot copy. Okay, and if we do say a new list, the same stuff as before, new list of 2 is equal to false, and if we do print my list and the new list, we could say it's different. So this is old list and this is the new list. So this is a method of copying a list. Now another method, as I have mentioned here, is using the list built-in method. Like we could say new list is equal to list of, then we could pass my list here, list of my list. Now this essentially creates a copy. So if I do save this now, if I do run this stuff again, I got the same result. Both are different. Okay, so that's the two methods of copying a list. Now the last one here is joining a list. Okay, suppose we have two lists over here, the new list and the my list. I want to append both of append in the sense I want to merge those two lists. So I have three methods for that. As I have mentioned here, the first method is concatenation, meaning I can just print my list plus the new list, okay, which will essentially merges both two lists. So if I do look into that, we got both. Okay, we have elements of both in same list. Okay, so that's a method of merging two lists. Now the second method is using for loop and append. Now this is a challenge for you. You have already learned about for loops here, an introduction, and you have already know the append method. So what you want to do is you want to loop through the new list and add each item to this my list. So that's a very good challenge for you. Please pause the video and give it a try. Hope you managed to do so. So what I can do is for let me say I in new list, then what I want to do is my list dot append I. So if I do print now the my list, then we could say the same exact stuff, we got the same exact result. So that's another method. Now the third one is using the extend method on the list. So extend is very simple, like we could say my list dot extend. I want to extend my this list, this my list dot extend, and in the extend we could pass the new list. Okay, and if I do say print my list, then what I'll get is the same result again. So these are the three methods of joining lists. So there are plenty of other methods, like sorting a list and all those stuff, which I will give a link for your reference in the description section. And as far as this code is concerned, I have included a link in the description so that you could download this code from GitHub. And that's all about lists in Python. So hope you got a good understanding on lists, and if you have any doubts, please do let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon near to it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.